Let me tell you something, and I want you to hold on to this with both hands. You're always one decision away from a different life. The difference between the person you are today and the person you dream of becoming is not talent, it's not luck, and it's definitely not opportunity. It's your mind. Your mind is the key that unlocks everything. But here's the thing. Your emotions, those waves of anger, fear, joy, or even sadness, they have a tendency to cloud your judgment. They can make you believe things about yourself that aren't true. They can blind you from seeing opportunity. But the truth is, you can only win when your mind is stronger than your emotions. Now let me break this down for you. We've all been there, right? You get that rush of emotion when things don't go your way. You lose a deal, you get passed over for something you thought you deserved, or maybe you've had a heated argument with someone close to you. In that moment, you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, like everything is falling apart around you. And when that happens, emotions start to flood in. Anger, frustration, sadness, all of them screaming for your attention, pulling you in different directions, telling you what to do. Your anger tells you to lash out. Your frustration tells you to quit. Your hurt tells you to give up and walk away. But here's the thing. Emotions can deceive you. They have a way of making things seem bigger than they really are. They can paint a picture of your situation that's clouded, distorted, one that's often not even close to reality. In those moments, your emotions will tell you that everything is lost, that nothing's worth fighting for anymore. But that's the lie you've got to recognize. Emotions are temporary. They're like storms that come and go. But if you let them control you, you'll find yourself lost in the chaos. Let me share something with you. Not too long ago, I lost something that mattered to me. It was a big opportunity, something I'd worked hard for, and when it slipped away, I felt that sting of disappointment. It was painful, and my first instinct, it was to lash out. I felt hurt, and I wanted to blame someone else. I could have pointed fingers, made excuses, and I could have easily let my frustration get the best of me. I could have quit. But I realized something in that moment that changed everything. If I let my emotions dictate my response, I was going to set myself up for failure. My anger, my frustration, all of those feelings might have been real, but they were deceiving me. They were pulling me into a place where I wasn't thinking clearly, where I couldn't see the next move. So instead of giving into that rush of emotion, I decided to step back. I took a deep breath, and I gave myself a moment of clarity. I reminded myself that in order to move forward, I had to be stronger than my emotions. Because if I let my emotions lead the way, I was just reacting. And when you're reacting, you're not thinking. You're not in control. When I took a step back, I could hear myself thinking again. I could see the situation from a clearer perspective. And in that moment, I realized my mind, when focused, was sharper than any emotional storm I could face. This isn't just about me, it's about you too. How many times have you let your emotions get the best of you? How many times have you let frustration or anger steer you in the wrong direction? I've been there, we all have. But that's where the change begins. Recognizing that emotions don't have to control us. They're not our bosses. Your mind, that's where your true strength lies. Your mind can make decisions based on clarity, not impulse. Your mind can push through adversity, even when emotions are trying to drag you down. It's easy to react when your emotions are running high. It's easy to act out of anger or frustration. But I want to challenge you to do something different. The next time you feel that rush of emotion, whether it's anger, fear, or even sadness, don't let it take the wheel. Pause, breathe, ask yourself, what do I really want to achieve here? Is this emotion leading me closer to my goals, or is it pulling me away from them? That small pause, that moment of clarity, is what separates the winners from the ones who get stuck. Because when your mind is in control, your actions will follow. And those actions, based on calm, deliberate thought, will lead you to success. Emotions are part of being human. They're natural, they're real, and they can be powerful. But they are not your compass. Your mind is. So don't let your emotions dictate your journey. Let your mind guide you. And when you do that, you'll always be stronger than whatever storm comes your way. There's something that you need to understand right now, and it's one of the hardest truths to face. Discipline is the muscle that carries you when your emotions tell you to give up. You see, emotions are unpredictable. One moment you might feel like you're on top of the world, ready to take on anything that comes your way. The next minute, life hits you with a gut punch. Maybe you lose something important, maybe you face rejection, or maybe things just don't go the way you planned. And when that happens, when you're feeling down, when you're exhausted, when you've been knocked on your back, that's when your emotions want to take control. But here's the thing. When you rely on emotions to fuel your actions, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because emotions can't be counted on. They'll tell you to quit when the going gets tough. They'll tell you to stay in bed when you know you should be up working. They'll make you feel like everything is too hard, too much. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline shows up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the thing that pushes you forward when every part of you wants to stop. Think about the most successful people you know, the ones who rise above the crowd, who keep climbing even when the world seems to be pushing them down. What do they have in common? It's not that they're special or different from you. It's not that they don't face challenges. No, what sets them apart is their discipline. That's the true differentiator. Look at athletes, for example. Look at someone like Kobe Bryant. Now, we all know that the game of basketball is demanding, but what many people don't realize is that Kobe didn't rely on motivation to get him through. He didn't wait for the spark of inspiration to show up and light him on fire. No, he relied on routine, on discipline. He would wake up before the sun, get his work in, and practice long after everyone else had gone home. Day after day, year after year, he committed to showing up. His body might have been tired, his mind might have been drained, but he knew that if he relied on motivation alone, he'd fall short. Motivation fades, it comes and goes like the weather. But discipline is something you can count on. Think about it. How many times have you tried to push yourself only to find that when things got tough, you didn't feel like it anymore? You didn't feel like working, you didn't feel like fighting, you didn't feel like giving your best effort. And in those moments, you know what happens? You look for excuses. You start justifying why it's okay to quit, to put things off, to take the easy route. But that's where you have to ask yourself, do I want to be a product of my emotions? Or do I want to be the person I promised myself I would become? If you want to win, if you want to succeed, you have to make the decision not based on how you feel in the moment, but based on the promise you made to yourself. You have to decide that when things get hard, when you feel like you're too tired, too drained, or too overwhelmed, that's when your discipline will kick in. When everything inside of you is screaming, quit, that's when your discipline says, no, not today, not on my watch. It's that voice that tells you to keep moving when your emotions want you to stop. And this isn't just for athletes or CEOs or anyone you might look up to from afar. This is for you. You have to make that decision every day to show up even when you don't feel like it. You have to decide that no matter how hard life gets, no matter how much your emotions try to drag you down, you're going to keep going. And you know what happens when you keep going? You get stronger. You get better. You start seeing progress where before there was none. And when that happens, when you can look back and see the work you've put in, when you see the results of that discipline, that's when you realize that the only thing standing between you and your success was your ability to stay disciplined, to stay the course, even when everything else was trying to pull you away. So, no matter where you're at in life, no matter how many times you've fallen, get up, start today. It doesn't matter if you're tired. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like it. If you can get 1% better today, you're on the right path. Every little step counts. And every time you push through, every time you rely on discipline instead of emotion, you build your strength and you get closer to the person you were always meant to be. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It only cares about the work you're willing to put in. And that, my friend, is where real strength lies. That's how you win. You win when you decide to stay the course, when you don't let your emotions dictate your success. You win when you choose discipline over impulse. And when you make that decision, there's nothing that can stop you. Let me tell you something that could change everything for you. Your emotions do not define your reality. I know this is hard to hear sometimes, especially when everything feels so real, so intense. But the truth is, emotions are temporary. They're like the weather. 1 minute, you're feeling like you're on top of the world. Everything is clicking, your energy is high, and life seems to be smiling right back at you. But then, the next minute, you're in the dumps. You're frustrated, you're angry, you're hurt. And in that moment, when those emotions hit you hard, everything around you starts to feel like it's falling apart. But that's where the danger lies. When emotions take over, they try to make you believe that this moment, this feeling is permanent. They'll tell you that the pain, the anger, the sadness is all you are. They'll tell you that because you're feeling down, that means everything is lost. But here's what I need you to understand. Feelings change, but the way you choose to respond, that's what makes you who you are. The key is not to let those fleeting emotions dictate who you are or what you're capable of. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where you lose something, a job, a relationship, or maybe a dream? And what happens next? Your emotions take over. You get angry, you get frustrated, maybe even depressed. You feel like the world has closed in on you. Your emotions tell you that this is the end, that you can't bounce back, that it's too much to handle. And in that moment, you might start thinking that maybe you just weren't meant for this. Maybe you weren't cut out for success. Maybe you're just not good enough. But let me tell you something, that's not the truth. That's just your emotions trying to blind you. Emotions want to tell you that this one moment defines your entire future. They want you to believe that because you're down now, you'll never get back up. But if you can step outside of that, if you can look at the situation through the lens of your mind, through your perspective, you'll see the truth. This is just a chapter in your story, not the whole book. Take someone who loses their job, for example. It's a hard blow, but if you let your emotions rule the situation, you'll just spiral down into anger and frustration, maybe even depression. You'll stay stuck in that moment, letting it define you. But people who rise above, they know something different. They understand that their emotions are just clouds passing by. They know that this setback is not the end. And instead of letting their feelings dictate the outcome, they shift their perspective. They use their mind to see beyond the pain, beyond the frustration. And in doing so, they realize that this loss is not a dead end. It's an opportunity for something new, something better. You've seen it before. People who face hard times, people who go through unimaginable struggles, they turn those situations around. But they don't do it by focusing on their emotions. They do it by changing their perspective. They decide that this moment, this hardship will not define their future. They decide that their mind, their resilience, their will to keep going is what's going to pull them through. And I'm not talking about people who have it easy. I'm talking about those who face every challenge, every obstacle, and keep pushing forward. They've learned that emotions are fleeting, they come, they go. But the mind, your perspective, that's what stays. That's what lasts. And when you train yourself to see beyond the storm, to understand that emotions don't define you, that's when you unlock the real power inside of you. You start realizing that those emotions, the pain, the frustration, they're just temporary. They're not the end of the story unless you let them be. It's like looking at a storm in the sky. It's dark, it's loud, and it feels like it will never end. But you know what happens? The storm passes. It always does. And after the storm, the sky clears up. The sun comes back out. You know that, right? It's the same with emotions. When you're going through a tough time, when everything seems overwhelming, it feels like it's going to last forever. But when you let your mind focus, when you choose to see beyond the emotions, you'll realize that the storm is only temporary. And once you see it for what it really is, you can push through. You can turn the pain into power, the frustration into fuel. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, the next time your emotions start to take control, remember this: you are not defined by what you feel in the moment. You are defined by how you respond. You are defined by your ability to choose your perspective, to see beyond the immediate storm, and to keep moving forward. Because emotions are temporary, but your mind, your perspective, that's everlasting. And when you learn to control it, nothing can stop you. Now listen to me closely when I say this. Emotional control is not about pushing your feelings down. It's not about pretending they don't exist or bottling them up inside. No, emotional mastery is about understanding and controlling those feelings. It's about recognizing the power your emotions hold and choosing how to respond, rather than letting them dictate your action. When you have control over your emotions, you gain control over your actions, your reactions, and most importantly, you gain control over your destiny. Think about it for a moment. How often do we let our feelings take the wheel? How often do we react to life based on how we feel in that moment without considering the consequences? If you're anything like me, you've been there. You get angry, frustrated, or hurt, and you let those emotions take over. You lash out. You make decisions out of impulse, not clarity. But what happens when you give in to that? What happens when you let your emotions call the shots? You make mistakes. You say things you don't mean. You burn bridges that you didn't need to burn. And in the long run, you lose control of your life, your choices, and your future. But here's where the real power lies. You want to break free? You want to be truly free? Then you've got to master your emotions. When you can control your emotions, you unlock something greater. You unlock the ability to stay calm under pressure. You unlock the ability to make decisions based on logic and reason, not based on fleeting feelings. And most importantly, you unlock the ability to move forward with purpose, to act with intention, and to create the life you want to live. Take a look at the most successful people in the world. The ones you admire, the ones you look up to. What's the one thing they all have in common? They don't let their emotions control them. You'll never see them flying off the handle at the smallest inconvenience. They don't let frustration dictate their actions. They don't let disappointment stop them. Instead, they stay composed, they stay calm. They make decisions based on where they're going, not based on how they feel in that moment. That's emotional mastery, and that's the freedom it brings. Let me give you an example. I remember reading about Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple. Now, this man had an intensity about him that was unmatched. He was passionate, he was driven, but what really set him apart was his ability to control his emotions. Steve Jobs faced countless setbacks in his career. He faced rejection, he faced failure, he faced betrayal. But he didn't let his emotions derail him. No, instead, he channeled that frustration, that anger, that disappointment into something productive. He didn't let those feelings cloud his judgment or influence his decisions. Instead, he used them to fuel innovation. He used them to create something bigger than himself. And that's the real power of emotional mastery. Think about it. How many of us have faced setbacks? How many of us have been knocked down only to let our emotions take over? How many times have you faced frustration, disappointment, or failure and let those emotions cloud your thinking, cloud your decisions? I know I've been there. We all have. But when you can control your emotions, you open the door to something greater. You create a sense of inner peace. You don't allow the outside noise to dictate who you are or how you respond. Instead, you focus on what you can control: your actions, your mindset, and your vision. The truth is, life is full of pressures. Every single day you'll face challenges. You'll face moments where your emotions try to take over. Whether it's the pressure of work, the stress of relationships, or the weight of your own expectations, there will always be something trying to pull you down. But when you master your emotions, you're no longer at the mercy of those pressures. You become the one in control. You become the one who decides how to respond to whatever life throws at you. And that, my friends, is where true freedom comes from. Freedom isn't just about doing whatever you want, whenever you want. No, freedom is about being in control. It's about being able to face any challenge without being shaken by the emotions that come with it. It's about having the strength to make decisions from a place of clarity, not from a place of impulse. When you're in control of your emotions, you create a sense of inner peace. You create the freedom to act with intention, to make choices that align with your goals, and to stay on the path no matter how difficult it gets. There's a power in emotional mastery that most people never realize. It's a power that allows you to walk through life with purpose, with focus, and with resilience. It gives you the strength to stay calm in the face of adversity and the wisdom to make decisions that will move you forward. It's the power to stay true to yourself, no matter what happens around you. So let me ask you, are you ready to take control of your emotions? Are you ready to stop letting them dictate your life? Because when you master your emotions, you master your destiny. You create the freedom to live life on your own terms, to rise above every challenge, and to achieve everything you've ever dreamed of. It all starts with controlling your emotions. And with that control comes the greatest power you will ever know: the power of freedom. Let's be real for a moment. Life is tough. It's not always going to hand you what you want when you want it. You're going to face challenges that will shake you to your core. There will be times when you feel like the world is working against you, when you feel like no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to get ahead. But here's the thing. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is how they respond to those challenges. It's not about what happens to you, but how you choose to respond. You can't control the situations life throws at you. You can't control the failures, the setbacks, or the disappointments that come your way, but you can control how you respond. You can control how you approach adversity. And that, my friend, is what determines whether you rise or fall. Think about some of the most iconic figures in history. Let's talk about Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players to ever live. You know what most people don't realize? He was cut from his high school basketball team. They told him he wasn't good enough. They told him he didn't have what it took. Most people would have taken that as a sign to quit. They would have listened to the rejection and given up, but not Jordan. He didn't let that failure define him. He didn't let it break him. Instead, he used it as fuel. He used it as motivation to work harder, to push himself further, to prove everyone wrong. And the rest, as they say, is history. Or let's talk about Walt Disney. This is the man who built one of the most successful entertainment empires the world has ever seen. But did you know that Walt Disney was told he lacked creativity? They told him he wasn't imaginative enough. They told him his ideas were too out there, too impossible. That's the kind of rejection that would make most people throw in the towel. But Disney didn't let it stop him. He didn't let those words define him. He kept pushing. He kept believing in his vision. And today we all know what he built. He built an empire. And that empire continues to inspire generations around the world. Now, why am I telling you this? Because you're no different. You've got the same power inside you. You have the ability to decide how you respond to adversity. Life is going to throw curveballs at you. There will be moments when you feel like everything is falling apart. But your mindset, your ability to rise above those emotions, to control how you respond, that's what will determine your future. Your mindset is everything. It's the one thing you can always control, no matter what's going on around you. It doesn't matter how many times you fail, how many doors are slammed in your face, or how many people doubt you. If you can control your mindset, you can overcome anything. Your mindset is the foundation upon which everything else is built. When you train your mind to stay focused, to stay resilient, to stay positive, there is no limit to what you can achieve. But here's the key. You have to choose your mindset every single day. You can't let your circumstances dictate how you feel or how you act. When things get tough, when failure hits, you have a choice. You can choose to let it break you, or you can choose to rise above it. You can choose to let your emotions control you, or you can choose to control your emotions and move forward. That choice is yours. When your mind is stronger than your emotions, nothing can hold you back. Your failures aren't permanent. They're just stepping stones. Every setback is just an opportunity for a comeback. And when you approach life with that mindset, when you refuse to let failure define you, success becomes inevitable. It's not about what happens to you. It's about how you respond to what happens. Think about it. Every single person who has ever achieved greatness has faced failure. Every one of them has been knocked down. But what made them different was their mindset. They didn't let failure stop them. They didn't let their emotions tell them to quit. Instead, they used their failures as lessons, as motivation, as fuel to keep going. And eventually they succeeded. They succeeded because they understood something that so many people never do. That success isn't about avoiding failure. Success is about how you handle failure. It's about how you rise after you fall. So I want you to think about your life right now. Where are you allowing your emotions to get the best of you? Where are you letting your failures or setbacks define your future? I want you to understand that your success, your destiny, is in your hands. It's not in the hands of anyone else. It's not in the hands of your circumstances. It's in the power of your mindset. When you decide to take control of your mind, when you decide to respond to life with strength, resilience, and focus, there is nothing that can stand in your way. You have everything you need inside of you. You have the power to respond to life with courage and confidence. You have the ability to rise above your challenges, to turn setbacks into comebacks, and to create your own success. But it all starts with your mindset. Success isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you create with your thoughts, your actions, and your response to adversity. And when you master that, when you master your mind, nothing can stop you. The only thing standing between you and your success is how you choose to respond. So choose wisely, choose to rise, choose to keep moving forward no matter what, because your mindset is the key to your success. And when you unlock it, you unlock everything you've ever wanted. As you sit here today, let me leave you with something powerful, something you need to carry with you long after you walk out of this room. It's simple, but it's true. Your mind is the most powerful weapon you have. Not your emotions. Your emotions are fleeting. They're temporary. The storms you face today, they'll pass. But your mind, when it's strong and focused, that's what will carry you through. Now think about it for a second. We've all been through tough times, moments when we felt like everything was stacked against us. Maybe you've been knocked down by life, lost a job, faced rejection, or dealt with heartbreak. It's easy in those moments to let your emotions take over. You feel angry, you feel frustrated, you feel like you can't go on. But let me remind you of something. Emotions, as powerful as they are just temporary. They come, they go, and they don't define you. What defines you is what you do when those emotions try to take over. What defines you is your ability to rise above it and make the right decision in the heat of the moment. You see, there's a difference between feeling something and letting that feeling control you. You're going to feel things in this life, there's no doubt about it. But the question is, will you let those feelings dictate your actions? Will you let them shape who you are or what you can accomplish? That's where the power of your mind comes in. The mind is stronger than any emotion you'll ever face, but you have to strengthen it. You have to make the decision to control your emotions rather than letting them control you. The truth is, life isn't going to always go your way. There are going to be times when everything seems to fall apart. The road will be tough and it'll test your limits. But in those moments, your mind is what will keep you on course. It's not the situation you're in, it's how you respond to it. That's what matters. It's how you rise when everything else seems to be falling down around you. When your emotions are trying to pull you in every direction, your mind is what will give you the clarity to stay focused and keep moving forward. I've seen it before. I've watched people go through unimaginable struggles, yet they've managed to push through because they refused to let their emotions take control. It's not that they didn't feel pain or frustration. Of course they did, but they chose to make decisions that were in line with their purpose, not their temporary feelings. They chose to stay disciplined. They chose to stay focused. And because of that, they came out stronger on the other side. They didn't just survive, they thrived. And that's the key. When you face adversity, when you face those challenges that make you question everything, you need to remember that you are not defined by your feelings. You are defined by the decisions you make when everything is pushing against you. It's easy to stay calm when things are going great. It's easy to feel good when everything is falling into place, but the true test of who you are comes when the storm hits. And when it does, you need to rely on your mind. Your mind is the compass that will guide you through the darkest moments if you let it. It's the strength that will keep you going when your body is telling you to quit. I want you to understand this. When your mind is stronger than your emotions, there is no limit to what you can achieve. No obstacle is too big. No challenge is too difficult. You have everything you need inside of you to overcome anything that comes your way. But it all starts with your mindset. It's about training your mind to stay focused, stay disciplined, and refuse to let anything, not your emotions, not your circumstances, not anyone or anything, get in the way of your success. So as you walk out of here today, remember this. Life will test you. It will push you to your breaking point. But you have the power to decide how you respond. You have the power to control your emotions, to stay focused on your goals, and to rise above the challenges. And when you do, when you let your mind lead the way, you will find a way to win. It's not about avoiding the storm. It's about learning how to navigate through it. And with a strong mind, there's no storm you can't weather. So stay strong, stay disciplined, and let your mind lead the way. Because when your mind is stronger than your emotions, nothing can stop you. There are no limits to what you can achieve. The power is in your hands. Now go out and make it happen.